Hi, this is Mike Camden. I want to talk about new voting procedures for 2024. Reentry received a donation of a Scantron reader and supplies. The Scantron form looks like this. You'll be given your Scantron form and a number 2 pencil when you are validated to vote. After the polls close on Sunday, the Scantron forms will be taken out of the locked ballot box and read into the Scantron reader. These instructions are on the ballot telling you which number to fill in for each item and candidate. For example, to vote yes for ballot item number 1, fill in number 1 on the Scantron form. To vote no, fill in number 2. This is a close-up of a Scantron form. To vote yes for ballot item 1, fill in number 1. To vote no for ballot item 1, fill in 2. Do not fill in both 1 and 2, as this will invalidate your choice. If you accidentally fill in the wrong number or change your mind, just erase the mark and fill in the one you want. Since the Scantron form is generic and does not have ballot items and candidate names printed on it, we created a key card to help you keep track of your votes. You will receive this when you come in to vote, and you can mark on it and keep it however you wish. Use the key side by side with the Scantron form to make sure you fill in the correct numbers. There are 14 candidates running for 6 open board positions. You can choose to vote for none of the candidates or up to 6. If you vote for more than 6, you will invalidate your candidate choices. To simplify checking the marks for candidates on your Scantron form, we created a tool to help you check that you do not have more than 6 numbers filled in. Simply place the tool over your Scantron form so that you only see the numbers 13 through 26 and count the marks you made. If you have 6 or less, you're good to go. If you have more than 6, you can erase the extra marks before putting the Scantron form in the locked ballot box. To vote, a member must be in good standing, meaning that all assessments and censure assessments must be paid in full 30 days prior to the annual meeting. If you received a late notice and believe you paid your annual assessment, log into your City and Village account to verify. This can be done by going out to the City and Village website, cityandvillage.com, and then their web access. Look at your account information. If you see your assessment payment posted by August 16th, your payment posted and it's as it should, and you're eligible to vote, unless you have unpaid censures. Thank you.
All the candidates. Okay, I'm all about the roads. Roads,
Can you guys hear?
and roads. And that
Closer,
means-
Bob. Closer.
It's really, yeah.
Okay, there, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm all about the roads. And I ain't talking about patching, I'm talking about resurfacing. Does, any of you candidates know how much a ton of asphalt costs?
I mean, I have a general idea. I like to look up recent quotes that I've gotten for other projects, but
Just a ton, one ton, well, I got it.
I mean, it's kind of sold by the yard, ain't it? I mean, anyway,
As close as
let
you
me
can
look
get,
up the
babe.
quote I have.
As close as you can get.
Well, I'll tell you, 1 ton of asphalt, if you buy it up at Fenton, it's $66 per ton. Now, you guys, you probably don't know how many tons it would take to resurface a mount.
Bob, what's your question?
Okay,
Besides that?
okay. How would you guys go about repairing, on the budget we have now, how would you get these roads repaired?
Well, I'd like to address that,
Okay,
okay? Okay, so the first premise is that all the roads need to be replaced, and I don't know if that's the correct premise. And I say that because a gentleman that does a lot of work from St. John, Dean Bauman, is doing work with Hillsborough and other areas, took a tour of Raintree because my neighbor Jim invited him. And he said, I don't think all your entire roads need to be paved. He said, there's a lot you can do with some of the newer technology. And I really think that what we need to do is do due process, which is, scope of work, which streets, and get major bids from, and put that out there. So I guess my answer is I don't believe that every single mile of Raintree needs to be paved. Anybody else?
I mean, I'll talk a little bit because, well, for one, I mean, I think looking at it by the ton is kind of misleading anyway. I mean, when you replace a road, there's a couple different ways to do it. You can do an overlay. If there are cracks underneath, those are going to rise up to the top over time. To make a permanent repair to a road, you have to break it up. You have to make sure you have a good base down, and you have to lay a new road. And that's going to be, 3 to 4 inches of thickness and the width, and then you have to add that up for the length of road that we have. It seems like a lot of good work has already been done to get quotes and to identify problem spots around the community. I think with the budget we have right now, which is one of the big reasons for all in for Raintree, is that repairing the roads or replacing the roads isn't feasible given the current budgetary constraints. So the original premise to your question, I think, is a little bit concerning because I don't think that we can address the problem in a substantial way given the current limitations on funds. Now, if you were to do that, if you were to take what we have now and put it toward fixing things, then I think then you have to go around and you have to find the most egregious areas. You have to make a cut in the road, which is still not ideal because then you have those transitions, which those are spots for wear. And then you have to replace segments of roads. I mean, I think that's, at this point in time, given the budgetary constraints, that's the only way to address it in any sort of meaningful way. I think just resurfacing is a Band-Aid. I think it's a waste of money because it's not going to get you the long-term returns you want on the road. And I've got a good deal of construction experience. I worked in construction. I've done bidding, estimating. I understand what it means to put down asphalt. And I think where we stand right now, the idea of replacing all the roads is not a realistic option.
Can you guys say who you are?
Oh, sorry, I'm Eric Downs
Yourselves
again.
really quickly.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm Eric Downs.
Okay, thank you.
And that was Pamela Donner who spoke.
I'm Jerry Hicks. I've lived out here since '87, long time. When I moved out here, we had chip and seal, okay? We do not have a base under our roads, and that's why our roads are so bad. If we were to replace our roads in the proper way for them to last, the years that we need them to last, and put the money into them that needs to be put into them, you would have to pull up the road, because underneath is not good. And that's why you see so many holes. If you go to the back, it's really bad. You can see it. If you go back into the forest area, you can see where it's popped. The roads have popped. Where the construction is back there, it's very bad. You can see underneath where the chip and seal is. And that's what it was all out. When I moved out here, it was all chip and seal. So you're gonna have to look at that aspect of it. It's not just going through and filling potholes. And people need to realize that, and people don't know that it's gonna have to be dug up and redone.
Everyone good with the roads? That question specific? Okay, next question. Come on up, please, and
I got something to add to that question.
would you mind, since this is on video, we need to be able to hear you.
You keep talking about how we don't have enough funds.
And your name is
Tim Powers.
Tim Powers?
Yes,
Okay.
we keep talking about we don't have enough funds. How much is it gonna take to do the type of repair that we need to do, or the replacement that we need to do?
Didn't you do a breakdown of that?
I did, actually. Well, I have to do bids for properties, commercial properties, and I did one at another plaza, and to do a 2-inch milling and overlay for $168,800. It's $168,800 for 13,716 yards. You can do like a 2-inch milling repair, but that's still going to cost you $84,000, and that's for 4,955 square foot. The seal coating, you could probably get away with that, but that's really not going to be much of a repair. You're still going to have to make some repairs, and that's a lot cheaper. But to do the whole thing, it's going to be pretty expensive. And as far as the money that's in the account, I mean, you can do some of the repairs, and you can do only so much with the money that's in the account right now.
I wish somebody could tell me, how much is it gonna take? Like the new proposal that is being put out to increase our
At least $12 million.
$12 million?
We have 40 miles of roads.
Okay,
That's to do
all right.
all
I
of the
had
roads.
heard it was in the millions. I just wanted to verify that. And how long do you think it would take, if the new proposal were enacted, how long do you think it would take to repair the roads at that rate, at $12 million?
Well, I am not a candidate, but I can answer that
Okay, that's
if
great.
they allow me to
That's-
answer.
That's all I'm looking for.
So $12 million at least, if you were to sign the contract today, which you would probably get a discount off of. There's two ways to do it. Take this over 10 to 12 years and have a little bit done each year, at least 2 to 3 miles, which is about $330,000 a mile based on an audit we had done. There's not one road in here that has the underlayment that you need of 7 inches compacted rock, 3 to 4 inches of compacted asphalt. There was an audit done by a professional with 2 board members alongside, one being an engineer himself. So you're talking 10 to 12 years to have that done, or you could take a loan out as the covenant with the all-in assessment as your collateral, and then do it all at once, get even a better discount. The money you save in the discount would probably pay the interest.
All right, thank you. That answered my question for me, and that sounds like the latter part of that that you mentioned sounds like the best way to go to get something for our money.
But that does require an assessment increase.
Pardon me?
That does require an assessment increase.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, next question, John?
I'm John Urban. I don't have another question, I just have a follow-up. I'd like to see a show of hands from the candidates here. Who thinks that the assessment for the roads at this point is adequate? And do you think that the all-in is even adequate enough to keep us going? Now, at this point, how I read everything, it looks to me like we're looking for a 5-year program at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to get us going. I mean, I can't believe that any of you think that our roads are fine. And I also don't think that you think that you can fill potholes or that you can seal 40 miles of road at this point and help. Now, who thinks that our number right now, and I think it's maybe 200,000 a year, is going to make any improvement over the 5-year program compared to an all-in number, which is 3 times that? That's without even doing all the budgetary stuff. With 200,000, let's say we're at 600,000 a year. I should see a show of hands as to whether the 200,000 is good. Okay, the 600,000, if that's what the budget number, is that a good number? Is that where we're heading in the right direction? So we need something like an all-in to get to the point that we need to get.
Yes.
So we're all in agreement that the number needs to go up, right?
Yeah.
All in.
And we're talking, the 600,000 at this point is 3 times the amount.
I'm sorry, but I didn't see a show of hands for who was for all in.
Yeah, it was kind of unclear. Yeah, I mean,
Who
that
thinks
wasn't
that
specifically the question, it was
$600,000 a
like,
year?
600,000 is better, yes.
The all in.
If you're asking for us to all in, I think
All
it'd
in.
be
Are
probably.
you asking for people to vote, what, how do you stand on all in? Is that the
That's
question?
kind of, well, I'm asking for, do you think that, just because right now we're just on the roads question.
Yeah,
Right now, do you think that an all-in type budget is going to help the road situation at this point?
if you're in
I think
favor,
so.
raise your hand.
Correct.
Yes.
All right, we got 5, okay. So that means that the other 3 that are here maybe think that we're okay at the 200,000 or maybe somewhere in between. Can I ask you 3 to respond maybe?
Somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between, okay, thank you. But it has to be up, has to be up. 200,000 is not gonna help us on roads, is that right? Pamela?
Well, what I like to say is that I really think that there's no question that, you know, we have to improve our assets, and we have to increase them, okay? What I'd like to do is, I think there should be more transparency, okay? If you've got bids and professional, okay, if you've got 3 bids from professionals, I think you should put that out there. I think we have smart, talented people in this community are going to be able to look at this and say, this is the best program, or, you know, pros and cons. I've never seen any of these bids. I don't know them, and either my husband has been in construction for 35 years. He really does know his stuff. There's plenty of people like that are subject matter experts on certain topics who are not invited to this dialogue, and they need to be.
Everybody invited here? All right, so,
Yes, everybody.
so, Tanlin, you just opened it up for me. So your husband is talented in construction, and I don't know, I believe, Eric, you have a lot of maybe experience in this. Is your husband on roads committee? Is your Tanlin?
Not currently, but he would be.
Okay, so you can't go in the back and say that the roads, we're not in the right spot at this point because we didn't have the right talent. We've got talent, I agree, we totally have talent out here. And people need to step up and get on these committees.
I would like to
correct?
see the proposals and the money, and after
But
talking.
you can't listen on the roads committee. You can't expect everybody to throw out their contracts and their things. The current board has been totally transparent with the current contracts, and I'm very, very, very glad that certain contracts have not been presented to this community in the public, okay? So my mind know what I'm talking about, but I'm very glad that the contracts are not totally transparent. Can I take answers?
One thing I would like to say is, I do know that when they go out for bid for things, they do tell at the board meetings, they do divulge who they have gone out to for bids.
Okay.
And or if they've gone out and somebody didn't answer, they divulge that also.
Correct, so they always ask for at least 3 bids, and a lot of times we don't get 3
Three or
bids because
sometimes
at this
they go
current
for
stance,
more, right.
we have a bad reputation because of the social media, and people don't want to
Exactly.
come in here and work with all that.
Right,
Correct,
right.
that's correct,
But they do divulge that at the board meetings.
that's correct.
Can I correct one minor statement to that? They were only divulged after we closed the bidding.
Right.
Yes, correct, okay, thank you.
Can you all hear in the back what Dave just said? Did you all hear that? Thank you.
I'm gonna sit down for a couple minutes. I might be back.
Look forward to it.
Next question, please, from an owner. Come on up. There's a variety of questions at the table if anyone wants to read those under the dum-dums. Tilly? State your name, please.
Tilly Winchester, I would just like to know from the people running from the board, where is your stance on the all-in assessment ballot item? Favor, not in favor?
We just,
Well, why or why not? I would like to have, like, why or why
The
not?
roads, that's only the roads portion in my opinion.
Yeah, that's just the road. We got lakes, security, and roads. So I would like to know, where do you stand on that?
So, it's funny, when I first decided to run for the board, I had seen a lot of negativity on, and American Downs again, by the way, for anybody who showed up late. But anyway, I'd seen a lot of negativity on social media, and then I'd also heard gossip and rumors about, you know, a potential 3 times increase to dues and things like that, and, you know, it had me worried, and I was like, I think I need to become more involved, since this is my community. I plan on being here for a long time. As I dug into it more, so I say that all to just preface my stance on the all-in. So originally I had very negative expectations about it because I had kind of gotten all of my information through hearsay or the rumor mill, and I kind of had sort of the negative outlook on it. It seemed like a lot in a really short time. I understand the need for that because we've gone now too long without regular increases and we've kind of fallen behind. And so after digging into the numbers, I think I still have questions. I have concerns about how the money is going to be utilized, but ultimately, when you look at where we stand and the needs that we have in the community, I don't see how we get to where we want to be without doing something like the all-in. I mean, I hope that it passes. I think that's it's what is on the table right now, and I think it addresses a lot of the needs. And so I'm currently in full support of it.
Can you recap the all-in ballot item?
Somebody else might be better who, Linda's been working on it a ton, so she'll tell you every single detail you ever wanted to know, I'm sure.
Thank you for that.
That does not answer the question that was asked.
She said, am I in favor of the all-in? Yeah, no, she's gonna answer that question, and then the rest of them will go up and answer as well. I was expecting that I would be followed by,
I was too.
yeah, and I think we will. She was just answering her question real quick.
And the answer to that question is we have flyers here that will give you everything under the sun that you would like to know about the all-in, including a little point here that says start here. This is a 9-minute video recap of everything you need to know about the all-in. And if you want to dig deeper, dive deeper, dig deeper, there are different videos about the lakes, about security, about roads. It's all here. Leave with one, please. On the website as well, RaintreePOA.net website, because we're going to focus on candidates while they're here. So thank you for that.
All right, so next person up to answer
Next person to answer the question of,
Real quick,
yeah,
one of the candidates showed up after my interview. Who showed up?
a candidate that came after the initial introductions.
I was about 3 minutes late or something.
Well, they're all going to be going up to answer this question
Yeah, okay.
anyhow, so they'll all introduce themselves.
Your name, please.
Joe McClung, and I'll be the black sheep here to start with. I'm not in favor of the all-in at this point. I think that it has the potential for having a lot of the lot owners run away from Raintree, and that would be disastrous for us, even with the increase from the homeowners. Raintree has survived on the lot owners' contributions, and if we lose the lot owners, we will be in very serious financial shape. Do I think we need to have an increase in our assessments? Yes, I do. But I think that this is too much, too fast, and I think that it would impact our ability to maintain people who just own lots out here without having a home on them.
That is a question. What's your solution?
My solution would be a increase of 20 to 25% in the assessments, moving forward and doing things in an incremental manner as opposed to trying to do it all at once.
My name's Cal Bailey. I haven't actually been here all that long. Bought a house in here a couple of years ago. I've got a military background and a couple master's degrees, but when I look at the all-in, it's still not as detailed as I am used to seeing. Which road is first? Which one's second? Which one's third? You know, who did the bidding and how does it work, and are they apples to apples and all that kind of stuff? There's a few people that say they didn't want every last bit of information out there, and I don't understand that. I want everything that I'm taking in for data. I'm getting this PowerPoint presentation, I'm getting this document, I'm getting this internet website
And I want every single person to know exactly what is coming into my head for me to make a decision, right? Data-based decision-making. And it should actually end up being fairly clear when you have everything laid out in front of you. I just don't like anything being ever done in some kind of secret board or anything at all like that. You know, this should be very rare. So I'm also a big transparency person, drag everything out into the sunlight, and we're not stupid around here either. You know, a lot of politicians and things, they think, oh, well, we can't bother the masses with these details and this and that. I go, look around this place, we're all pretty smart. So all the details can be thrown out there, people can dig into them, and I think a lot of things should be voted on, you know, in general, smaller chunks, you know, so everybody can go, yeah, this coming year, this road, this much money means this much increase, 20% or 10%.
What is the plan to?
I've never, even in my life, seen something proposed that would more than double something that people pay for. I mean, nobody ever goes and likes, you know, eggs to go from $3 to $7. So I think it's like Jim, and I know Jim a little bit, so I'm very similar in that there's no way that much money, other people's money, should be brought in with people and you don't know exactly what's going to happen with it, and you don't have it down to the gnat's butt, you know.
How long did you say you've lived here?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
And how many board meetings have you attended?
I think just the one.
One. And how much time do you spend reading the website and
I
looking
read
at
it all
all
before I ever moved here.
all the information that comes out? And you don't have any details at all? And after all of that time, you have no details at all?
I have some details, but I don't know right down to what I want. I want to know which road is the number one, which one's the number two. We call it a 1 to N list. This is the number one priority. This is the number two priority. 3, 4, 5. And how much do they cost?
And with what money are you going to do that?
When we know how much exactly the
How will we know how
offers
much if
are.
you're not for all in and there is no money?
The all-in is way too much money. Way too much money.
Why is it way too much money?
Because it's more than doubling everybody's
Just
expense.
because it's double, it's too much.
It's more than
when it
double.
really needs
Anytime
to
a
be-
price goes up more than double.
No, wait, when it really
it's
needs to
too
be
much.
triple, when it's double, it's too much. Is that what you're saying?
Triple's way too much, double's too much.
So, what?
20%
We give it a
might be
nickel,
impossible.
we give it a nickel, so we can't do anything, and that's enough.
Look, don't vote for me, okay?
Well,
Don't vote. You understand?
obviously.
Yeah, good,
Because
good.
you
Then
don't have
your
any
time
facts.
is done.
You haven't had any facts. I'm not running.
Oh, your time is done. Your time is done.
I
Let's
think
not
you're
do that, please.
Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, thank you for your questions, but let's stay, whatever the words are, you all know what I mean. Civil, is that the right word? Okay. Talon, you have an answer for the last question?
Yes.
Okay.
I will be brief and to the point. I am against all-in-one. I think it's complicated and it's going to be problematic to implement. There are many lots, as Jim said, there's going to be many lots that are going to be abandoned. I believe that...
Guys, I can't hear you.
Okay. I thought I was talking loud already.
Raise your hand if you cannot hear her.
Okay.
Okay, now
As I said, I'm against it. I think it's problematic. It's complicated. And I do believe, as Calvin said, okay, we have not done the proper analysis, okay, the impact analysis. For example, how many people in Raintree are retired? How many people in Raintree have school-aged children? What is their annual income? I mean, within a range. And so what you're doing is you're doubling and tripling some of these people. And I'm not saying we don't need money to do things, but you know, we have to take into consideration the burden this is going to be on people, okay? And I think there are very good there's good ways to solve this. And one of them is, number one, you could go to Jefferson County, you could use the assessment, okay, their number, and you could tag on a percentage. And you're using data that Jefferson County has already done through their systems. That's one idea. The other one is Why don't we go investigate other lake communities and how they do their assessments and meet with them? How are they doing problem solving? Okay, and the other thing is, quite frankly, we can also go to universities and schools with our questions and find out for free, you know, do you want to come in and consult with us as part of maybe your thesis, and, you know, you can give us solutions. So there's a lot of alternatives like that that should be, before we just randomly have something this complicated. Thank you so much.
Just one thing. If you have a question, come on up and start standing in line. I want to make sure everyone that has a question gets it addressed before we like skyrocket into one direction. You have an answer to the last question? Mary Jane, yes?
Hi, Jerry Pitts. I am on disability. My husband has just been diagnosed with cancer. He is unable to work. I am for the all-in. We will make it work with our financial situation. I have watched this community go down to nothing because people will not let their money go. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's the way it is. Every time we go for an increase, every year we go for an increase, people say no, 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 no. I mean, it is a small amount of an increase. That's how we got where we are today, because nobody would approve an increase. So I am for the all-in. And sir, I have to say something to you. There is plenty of information on what you're looking for. All you have to do is ask the office, ask fellow board members. If you want to know about the roads, there's road chairs, co-chairs. They can tell you exactly. They have gone out and scouted the roads. They can give you all that information, sir. If you just go up to the office and ask. They can give you all that information. Okay?
Anyone else here want to answer before I ask questions?
Well, I think we were going to go through everybody to answer the all-in question.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll go on record saying I am voting for the all-in, and I have talked to a lot of people who support it as well. But the one thing that I hear that's a negative about it, and this is from people who are supporting it, is the complexity of how this ballot looks. And I don't know how well that's going to sit with people, but that was the only negative that I had to bring about the all-in. Otherwise, yeah, it's necessary.
Anyone else?
By the way, a board member did have a proposal for increases and was rejected by the board. It was incremental. And sadly, he's not here, but I thought he had a good idea.
Desiree, would you mind coming up?
Can I avoid the microphone or just yell?
I don't know, can you? Can you yell?
Yeah. So as far as the all-in goes, I'm not a fan of the tiered system, but being on the board the last 2 years and hearing the complaints of, we don't have money for this, we don't have money for that. We had to cut roads for a while. I think even with not liking the tiered system, we still need an increase, so I'm still for the all-in. So.
Thank you, everyone.
I can talk loud.
Okay, great.
Justin Schulte, with respect to Jim, I am a lot owner. I don't live out here. The increase, selfishly to me, I would vote for it just because it's only going to raise my dues probably $150 a year. I got 3 vehicles and a boat, so all those prices for the tags would be wiped out, so my increase is only going to be $150 a year. I will tell you, when I was looking for lake lots, I came across here. I live in Union, but I used to go to paramedic school. I drive by here. I just thought it was a highfalutin gated community and was expensive and whatever. But when I seen what the dues were in here, I'm like, ain't shit. For what I want to do. I'm not out here in the wintertime. I start fishing out here probably late spring. I play in the volleyball league. I'm at the beach pretty much every weekend in the summer. I play golf out here. So I'm out here a lot. I don't have necessarily the background in
road construction, but I do have some construction itself background, but not road construction. So selfishly, I do understand, you know, it is a 3 times increase for the residents that live out here. But I still don't think $1,200 a year is a whole lot for what we have out here and what could have out here.
Okay, thank you. I think we did it with that, right?
Yeah.
New question?
Can I just respond to some things? Just gotta be back. Okay, so Caleb, I think you said military?
Alan.
Callan.
Okay.
Callan. Okay, I think you said you were in the military?
I was.
Thank you for your service, first off. I kind of appreciate your energy. 2 years in, I appreciate your energy. You know, I would consider looking more into you for the vote, to be quite honest, okay? Hanlon, you just said that the lake, or the other communities, research the other communities. Do you realize what the real estate people out here voluntarily did to
Yes.
research that?
Yes.
And that research, how can you say we need more research? That was everything. That was totally loaded, I think, I
Yes.
believe.
I don't
do
agree
want
with
to
your
ask,
findings.
so I believe there was a card put on mailboxes, maybe today or yesterday. Is that a fact? Did some of you guys put a card out there? The card that went around, taped on the mailboxes? Was that true?
The illegal solicitation.
Okay, so, so when did those, how did those cards get out there that got onto social media a while back? And then I saw just something taped on mailboxes yesterday when I left the subdivision.
No,
Is that a solicitation?
it
from
is
somebody?
solicitation, and
That's
it
it.
is illegal,
Okay,
and
so
they should be censured for
I
it.
don't care if it's illegal or not. One of the things that was on there and that you guys are voting for, or you guys are campaigning on,
Well,
and I'm sorry.
let's, hold on.
Wait, Eric, I'll answer this. It's
No,
only the people that are involved. It's only the people that are involved.
Yeah, I know, but like, you're talking to us, I want to just verify, like, if any of these people, because I mean, I certainly didn't have
Okay.
anything to do with this. I mean, so you're talking to us, I just want to make sure to
Here, I
clarify
will tell them.
that it wasn't.
So no, my only point on that is those people that were on that, if anything, I didn't get that on my mailbox. I don't think any of my neighbors along that strip, that, you know, you're probably not gonna put it on those mailboxes, I understand that. But if you want to be transparent, everybody has to get it. Everybody has to get it, right?
What was put on the
Okay.
mailboxes of some?
Yeah, an example.
Am I on?
They're standing beside the-
What are you doing?
The mic is going into the speaker. Yeah, there you go.
That's the, oh, there you go. That's the band guy telling us. He's
Well, don't stand
directing
in front of
us.
the speaker, that will feed back.
Okay, so my point is, one of the things that's on the backside of the sheet today is transparency. I think there's an overlap of people. I'm sorry if you're not the people, but somehow along, we got 9 people here. Is it just the other 6 that didn't show up today that are on this thing? And that's fine. I think that kind of should kind of show a little bit of vote of who we should vote for. Yes, sir.
Because not everyone got what you're talking about
Correct.
on their mailbox. It would be beneficial for the people that didn't to state this and exactly what it is, what is stated, because we don't know, but you're alluding to information, but you're not stating. State what the information, and then.
I didn't get one.
And then.
I didn't get one. That's the
Then
problem.
just ask the
I didn't get
question.
one. Here it is.
That's fine.
Oh, wait, so he got one. Okay, 2024 Rain Tree POA voting dates. Okay, that's all cool, but again, whatever's on here, you didn't get it. I didn't get it. Where's the transparency? Maybe it blew up. Maybe I'll go with that, but I didn't see them all over the roads. The power of 5. We got stability, the word stability. Jim, you're on here too.
Yeah.
You're on here.
I didn't have
Okay.
anything to do with putting them out.
Okay, thank you. Dave Staylock is on here, Karen Bell's here, Mary Lou, Scott Clark. Any of you guys here? No. Okay. I apologize for asking you this, but I want everybody to know who the people who didn't show And their transparency that they're saying they're going to give, right off the bat, is not very transparent, since a bunch of us didn't get it, okay? You okay, everybody okay with that?
Can I just ask Jim, did you give your permission to be put on that card?
Well, I gave my permission, no, I did not give my permission to be put on the card.
Thank you, because I've heard some information like not everyone agreed to have their information on that card. So thanks for verifying that.
We need to find out who did that, because number one, it is illegal to tape something on a mailbox. And number two, in our rules, on number 11, you cannot do that, you cannot solicit in Braintree, and you are to be censured for it.
Okay, thank you.
One
Question?
correction, you have to ask the board.
You
If
have-
we
yes,
approve
you
it,
have to
we
ask
will
the
allow
board
it. Nobody ever asked me, I don't know if anybody asked the board.
You're in line for a question.
Yes.
Your name, please?
Dave Wolders, if you don't know me by now, I'm the hatest person out here, but I have some direct questions for Mr. McClung. You're for not voting for the all-in. If you take the 14 years that we didn't get an assessment, along with the $1 million we spent on legal fees to defend a fraudulent lawsuit, we are nowhere near the money we're asking for now as far as an assessment. Mr. Callen, I entertain your energy, but you gotta have thick skin. This woman challenges you, and you're right back in her face. Believe me, for 5.5 years, I've been as quiet as a church mouse trying to get along with people and see both sides of the story. So thick skin is all I can tell you. Tantalin, as far as getting quotes, and the rest of the board, which some may not even know this that are on the board, quotes are closed. The executive board gets these quotes. If another board member has this question, they bring that to the executive board. Anything over $2,500, we get at least 3 quotes. That doesn't mean we'll get 3 quotes back. We do our due diligence, we send it out to 3 or 4 or 5 different people. Happens in construction all the time, I'm sure you know that. We do not open the bids to the public until those quotes are closed, for the simple reason, you bid on something, we tell everybody what you bid, and he comes in $1 over. That is general business of quoting. Everybody on this board that is on it now or gets on it should know that information. The point to you doing due diligence with this management tool and whatnot, out of all the issues that have happened in this subdivision, security, office staff, office management, roads, cameras, whatever, only you has brought anything to this board, unless there's a board member here now that has received information about how to fix this damn place. We do the best we can, and other than you with your software design a couple months ago, nobody, this board, any person in the subdivisions, all about vote no, never given us another solution to take it to the people.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so I sent 6 emails to everybody on the board, okay, after I did the project proposal, and I got no reply. None at all. I had links in there, I had prices in there, I had everything, and that was, I just wanted to know if the project would move forward. And my concern, and the reason why I'm running right now, you guys, really, is because I can't believe we're entering into a 3-year contract, okay, and nobody here has used the software. They haven't been invited to test it, to look at it, to experience the features. And for me, I think that is irresponsible, really, because why would you not? Why would you not have 10, 20 people? And I asked several vendors, and they go, yes, we'll give you, extended passwords, and you can go and you can test the software. You can see how it works. Everything that's happened with community property, their portal, I have no idea how to use it, what are the features, none of that. Why would you do that to the community when they're the ones that's going to be using it?
Because the office staff said they were too busy.
No. I was willing to take on that project. I was willing to take on that project.
You're not a
and
board
run
member
with it.
though, or an office personnel. So let me explain something to you. Your first statement about nobody reached out to you, that's definitely incorrect. I had over an hour conversation with you on the telephone and explained the issues that we were having and why we were doing. I also explained to you We're in the middle of this bidding process, and if that doesn't work out, we will consider your possibility. But at that point in time, we didn't have the technical ability to introduce 2 or 3 or 4, a portal with 4 or 5 different software solutions that you mentioned to us. That is why it didn't get selected, because we were going a different route, and it spent years trying to develop this. My last comment is, Callan, I appreciate you running, but I would never stand in front of anybody like this and say, don't vote for me, whether it's one person or everybody here. That's all I got to say.
Hey, David?
Yes.
Since you're kind of in charge, I just had a question.
Linda's in charge.
Nothing about candidates or anything.
Sure.
But like on the ballot issue, there's something that was unclear to me. It says here, and monthly, effective July 1, 2025, monthly thereafter, the association shall have the right to assess the owner of each lot a sum as it shall deem proper. Okay, so then it lists all the specific what the intention is now, but the verbiage kind of indicates that this can just be changed at will, correct?
There are protections in the ballot, both for the cost, the amount that we collect, the priorities that have to have a minimum percentage spent. So say we get 8 years into it and the roads are done, the security's done, the lakes and beaches are all fine, and we have a certain amount in the bank account. At that point in time, a future board can reduce, amend, or just completely wipe out the assessment for that year. Does not affect anything else. So yes, there are protections in there for what you're asking
But
for.
I don't really.
And your name, please?
Ken Snyder, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I think what you're referring to is something that's come up often, so we're going to answer it
Well,
now.
I mean, I'm just.
No, let me answer for you. That's not a change. That's in the covenants
I'm hearing you
today.
at the point. I mean,
It's in there
You need
today.
to hold the mic up closer.
I'm sorry. That's in the covenant today. That's not what's changing in the covenant. And the assessments can't change without a majority vote of the owners. So that's something that was in the covenant today. It wasn't presented to make a change to it. It doesn't.
It's further down.
It doesn't impact that. Then later it says in there, except for these adjustments, no assessment shall be made unless approved by the majority vote of the owners.
Okay.
So, all right, thanks.
Thanks for your question.
So bottom line is, whether it passes or fails, it's still in there, that paragraph that you're referring to. It's already in the covenant.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. All right. And your name, please?
My name is Robert. I lived here 4 years. We have 4 children and been married 10 years. My question is for like the no votes. What is your plan? I mean, because everyone, there's a plan right now. And how long will it take to implement that? And then we vote on it and we move forward, and what's the plan? Incremental increases, or what? Is it, we did a 20% increase 2 years ago? That's change. Even if you do 20% for years and years and years, you're not gonna reach what you need. Another thing is, had we done the roads 4 years ago, we would be saving around 30–40%. Because of inflation, we're way up here now. And if we keep putting it off, it's just gonna keep getting worse. So what's the plan for the no?
I'll adjust that. That's a good question. So first of all, I mean, it's my understanding that it was $400,000 in the budget, and then we spent $200,000 a year maintaining the roads. Okay, so the other point of it is that I think there's a lot of fear mongering, and that is, oh, we're broke. I've looked at the numbers of the budget, and I quite frankly, I question some of those numbers. In fact, at this point, I would like to say, we're handing out these flyers. And we created these, and on here is the agenda, and part of our agenda is financial health and transparency with an immediate accounting and auditing. We'd like to really know, and share that information with you. So speaking to past treasurers, they've told me that we always put money towards the roads and we always did some repairs, and that was halted, except for most recently about $74,000 was spent. I don't know, you can address that, but The plan was that there was a 5% increase that was passed, okay? And the plan is what Denny Schwatner, who is in charge of roads, okay, he's not here. However, I would have you contact him. He has a plan. It was rejected by the board. It's, I think, $250 over a 3-year period. And that would be earmarked to be spent just on roads. And then after that, it would drop down to $100. And if I'm incorrect, I apologize, but that's my understanding of this.
How many miles of roads would that get us, Tantalin?
Okay, so that's a good question too. And I really think what you should do is invite other vendors to come in and do an assessment, such as, you know, Dean Bauman, okay, from St. John. I would have them come in and I would have all 3 different vendors have proposals and bring them before the public and have their assessments. So everybody can ask them questions, they can understand, you can see discrepancies and agreements on certain issues. And then, yeah, and then you come up with, this is what we can afford. I think it is a huge burden to put this on, you know, to double our assessments at this level, at this time. I mean, it's unconscionable, really. I think Galen is true.
So look back to that. We went 13 years without an increase.
Yeah.
We spent, hang on, we spent $1 million fighting a frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah.
And you think twice or 3 times that much over 14 years plus? Plus we're getting rid of COLA, no stickers, no car stickers. I mean, this is a win-win for everybody. I don't see how you can't see that. We're making up for 14 years of non-assessments, and the 5% got us, what, John? $130,000 extra, 40, 50? That's chump change.
Okay, so if you're, you know, if you're trying to make up the sins of the past on the people that live here now and the burden, I mean, I really think that one of the things that needs to happen at Raintree is some healing, okay? There's a lot of ill will and meanful, spiteful things that have been said, and I personally feel that if Raintree is going to progress, we are going to have to bury the past, either bury it or heal it, okay? And focus our time and energy and resources on the problems. We have large issues, roads, lakes, and maintenance, okay? And when you, and just to do a correction here real quick, okay, with, I love realtors, my sister-in-law's a realtor, okay? But I don't agree with their assessment. We don't have large amenities. We have lakes, and we have a pavilion. Okay, we pay $255 to be, you know, with the club. And the exercise center, I don't know if you've been to it. It doesn't look like any exercise centers I've been to, okay?
Clubs are relevant.
So when you talk about us having amenities, we do not have comparable amenities to many of those lake developments that are in there, okay? And also, we pay for that. We pay for golf. I don't get free golf. I have to pay $12 for a cart. Even when my sister owns the cart that I'm riding in.
So you do get free golf, you can choose to walk. But if you choose to take the golf cart,
And everybody would hate me because I'm so slow.
So I just want to say that I believe we have amenities. I mean, I came from Arizona, and for $150 a month, I was paying $200 in HOA fees on a property out there. And I mean, we got beautiful lakes. We got the golf course, like it or not, it brings up the values of the houses. We got really crappy roads though.
We can address that.
Yeah, no, it is an amenity because we pay for
It's
it.
not part of this community.
But-
We're paying a private company money that $500 could go for this.
So let me ask you,
Are you
with-
gonna put that you live on a golf, that you have a golf cart?
Excuse me, we're not going to have these conversations in the background. Can everyone hear? Because the people that are watching the replay, which many said they wanted to do, cannot hear you at all. So we're going to stay on track. I don't want to lose time. So I appreciate your comments, and you're welcome to come say them on the mic so that we can get it that way, okay?
Yeah, I was just gonna say one last thing. I think that people really don't understand the value that golf brings to this community. I mean, there's beautiful lawns, they're well maintained. People come in and out of this place and they see, you know, what we have. And we gotta maintain what we have, and we gotta pay for it. That's all I gotta say.
speaker, apparently that was a feedback thing.
I think everybody knows me.
Say it anyway.
John Willett. So, Jim, thanks for saying that you didn't actively know you were participating in this, but for everybody who didn't get this, the voting hours are wrong on the card. They're not accurate. The why the current board eliminated the maintenance office staff, inaccurate. Ballot item of $100 a month increase in POA fees. It's not $100 a month increase in fees. Some of them are $100 a month, but it's not an increase of $100 a month on it. From it. So, I would encourage you, Jim, separate yourself from this publicly. I mean, you're entitled to your stance on all in. I appreciate what you're saying. But if you're not behind this, don't. The other thing is this tells people to vote no on every ballot item. And one of the candidates' names on this card, I'm going to leave him out, every year he does the exact same thing. Vote no to everything. It doesn't move this community forward by doing that. And we had 29 people a year ago that voted no to remove Section 50 from the covenants. Section 50 doesn't even exist. But they voted no because they said, okay, I'm voting no to everything. So, from it. But the one thing I would like to ask is, there is a 5-year plus very detailed plan of exactly where this assessment money is going to go. For those of you that are against it, do you have a 5-year plus plan that you can show before we go to vote as to how's the money going to be spent? Because if you're telling people to vote no, and you're going to vote no for this, where's your comprehensive plan as to what the people are going to get? What am I going to get out of a no vote? We have the same money we have year after year. We know what that gets. I do want to just say one clarifying thing. For all of those that think that we jacked with the roads, you're dead wrong. Go watch the videos out there. The board every year makes a budget. It just so happens that typically $200,000 was given to the roads in the budget. This year, we didn't feel we're making headway with the roads. Security in the lakes were lacking. So we decided as a board to not put other than emergency repairs into the roads and spend that money on security needs and the lakes. So this year, Spring Lake's getting treated. I think the lakes have been better this year with the treatment, but it's still chemically laced. So, on it. So we just addressed some other things. The new board will do a new budget for next year, and they can decide where and how much they want to spend on anything. But there's not a promise that $200,000 a year or whatever is going to be spent on the roads year after year. The all-in does show that. So I would encourage you guys to get to work fast. If you said you're no for all in, where's your 5-year plus detailed plan as to how this money is going to work for Raintree?
Well, vote me in and I'll create it.
Because you need to do it before you vote it in, because you got a 5-year plan already. You already got one in front of you that was built exactly where this money went. That all-in assessment's detailed, folks, because of what people asked for to allow it a chance to pass. Yep, it's long. But you know what? To say no without delivering to the people, how are you going to make this work? Because this card says that one of the things they're after is stop excessive rate increases. And I'm like, okay, well, if you believe in what we have today, how's it going to work? How are you going to get the roads done? How are you going to get the lakes fixed? How are you going to get security fixed? I think the people should know that if your answer is no. So if you want to comment, go ahead.
Okay, Jerry Jean, you look like you might have an answer to something that's been on the table already, yes?
No.
No.
I have something different.
Then if you don't mind, we're going to go to the owners that do have questions, because it's now 5 o'clock.
I had a response
Did we get
to
a
what.
response from everybody about all in, yes or no?
I think we did. I think we did.
Raise a
We need to
hand.
go to something.
No, they were each different, okay.
Something that's already been on the table, yes?
I was going to respond to what Will just said.
Okay.
So I'm for all in, but I do think that it's just to speak for the other side a little bit in response to what you said about like, well, if you're not in, then you need to have a 5-year plan. I think that that's a little bit excessive of a point to make. I think that a lot of people are wanting to become part of the board so that they can put in that work and feel like they can make a difference. And maybe they don't agree with what's there currently and haven't had the time or the resources to put a new 5-year plan in place. That seems like a big undertaking for one person shooting for the board. So I just felt like that was a little bit of an unfair take, and so I wanted to defend it. But on the other side of that, if All In fails, which I think would be unfortunate, but if it does, and there seems like there's some negative sentiment, I hope those people are convinced and they change their minds. But we definitely have to consider what if it does fail. And in that case, we'll probably need to go through some soul searching and say, well, why didn't this work? Why is this so unpalatable to people? We need to figure out, you know, we either have to better convince people that this size of an increase is necessary, or come up with some other plan that reinvents it. And that's actually going to be work that has to be done if this doesn't pass. So having people that are thinking about it and having different ideas or having their concerns, we definitely shouldn't tell somebody that their concerns about, you know, being unfair to lot owners or not being clear enough, at least to him, you know, and he's representative of other lot owners. He's not just, I mean, I'm sure there are other people who feel the same way. So if that's the case, then why? I know that you've done an amazing amount of work to try to educate people and get people on board. Some people, you know, we're obviously not meeting them where they're at. Otherwise, they'd probably be more bought in. So I'm just saying that we shouldn't judge people too harshly because they have concerns, because their concerns are going to be shared by probably many people throughout the community. So if this doesn't pass, then we will need to go to people like that and find out, why was this? And if it's a money issue, if it's too much, then we're going to have to either convince them that their money will be used wisely, or meet them somewhere in the middle, is all I'm saying. So, thank you.
Eric, real quick, one thing. I disagree with it being unfair because every one of these people, all of us in here, can bring a 5-year plan to the ballot any year. Bring it ahead right now. Don't wait till you're on the board. It's too late then, because your head's spinning for 3 months while you're on the board. Yeah. You get the keys, you get a credit card, you get a code to the office. You don't even know what you're doing yet. I will tell you, I am voting for you. At this point, I'm voting for one person. So I applaud you for your expertise, but I do believe anybody can bring a 5-year plan.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we could have a loose 5-year. I think anybody probably could have a loose 5-year plan. I have ideas of things I have ideas of things that you would want to try if All In doesn't pass. But who authored the final All In document? Who was the final author of that?
I started it about 2 years ago. I've been working with different board members. They either went out of term, they resigned, and then we finally got a 4th executive board member to come to the All In. We talked about it, myself, John, Kent, and Tilly. Took it to Linda. She asked if she could put a project team out there to try to get this all out. We then brought it to the board, then took it to Linda, and so there's been extensive research.
It's been an extensive project over the course of 2 years to create this very detailed 5-year plan. And so that's all I was saying, is that for any one individual candidate working on their own, maybe they could have a bullet pointed of ideas, but the expectation of, oh, you don't like this? Well, where's your 5-year plan? I just think that that's a little unfair. Thank you.
I got one thing real quick. I just texted the guy I work with. He's got a lot of Innsbruck, and their POA fees are $2,500 a year.
Yeah. And just to clarify, I went to Dave and said, can you explain this better, because we want to understand it, Mike and I, and oh, by the way, can I have a project team to kick it off with other people and not just go with our understanding? And of course he said yes, and that's what kind of started all of it. I will also say that while I do support the All In and believe in it, it was not me that wrote any of that. I am just a conduit of what was shared with us, that we've been formatted in a way that we felt was easier for owners to read. Those are not our numbers.
Yeah, thank you.
Tilly, and state your name, please, and maybe go over here because we're having feedback issues.
Tilly Winchester, can you hear me? Yes, okay. I just have a question.
Louder, please.
Okay.
Closer to
First
your
of
mic.
all, the all-in, I'm in support of that because I know from experience that Dave, John, and Kent all researched. We had Denny research on the roads. We had Glenn Witt research on security. And they did not just pull this number out of their, you know what. They went, had reputable bids, came up with a number that we needed to address all of our problems, which are roads, security, and our lakes. And I think every single one of you think that is a priority living here. With that being said, well, mostly John and Dave, they're the numbers people. I was just sitting there smiling, looking pretty. And they did a fabulous job, coming up with the numbers and trying to break it down. All right, so they did that first. I'm just giving you a little history. Then we had town halls, we had board meetings, and we had people come up and say, it originally was $150 everybody. $150 is way too much for everybody. So they went back for, well, it's for $150 and $50 for the lot owners. And a lot of homeowners, that is way too much. So they went back to the drawing board and crunched the numbers again. And through town hall meetings, Linda did, and people gave input. They listened. Where's the money going? They came up with a 5-year plan. People wanted a 5-year plan, they did that. They came up with the numbers, trying to cut costs on our maintenance and our office. When we look at that, because the 150 would get us to that number. So we were trying to help you all and make it more affordable. So with that being said, when you start looking at, okay, what's our biggest cost? Our biggest cost every year was maintenance and the office. Is there any way we can cut some of those expenses? And they looked into it, and honest to goodness, I think Dave, one of the first, we can't afford a property management. So what we've got to do, maybe we need to get a bookkeeper, maybe we'll do this, maybe. So they were open to all ideas. And when they looked into it, it was a lot more affordable than we thought. So that's where they came in and said, okay, if we could do this, we can get it down to that $100 or less for our homeowners. So with that being said, that's where we are, and that's why we're where we're at with the numbers. Number two, the one thing I really want to address, being the ex-secretary, is that, you know, communication, you try real hard putting things out there, but as a board, my philosophy was that we were a team. We may not agree, but we're a team. We were elected by the people to work together. And unfortunately, that has not happened in years past and even now. When you bash another board member or an executive person, that's horrible. That is horrible. That is so awful.
Yeah.
And that's what divided our community. So I'm just saying to you, when you look at who you're voting for and you're looking at what you're doing, look at their social media posts. See how kind they are or hateful? And that will tell you a lot about it. But as a board member, and I would hope all of you, if you make it, if you don't get your agenda or you get what you want, the majority rules, that's how it is, and you get along and don't bash each other personally. And that is the most awful thing that any one of you can do as a board member, because people look to you for guidance, they look to you for information, and you bad-mouthing another person on the board, awful, awful.
Are you on for a question? Yes. Come on up and introduce yourself, please. Yes. And let's come over here.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Joe Holmring.
Yeah, either
Little
close
closer.
or
Okay,
yeah. There you go.
That worked.
All right, just as a bit of information, I lived in Lake Sherwood for almost 25 years. I left there 8 years ago. The assessments there was $1,200 per lot. Didn't matter if you owned a house, didn't matter if you owned a lot. It was $1,200 per lot. I own 2 lots, I paid $2,400 a year. So, you know, just so you can, and that was almost 10 years ago. I'm sure it's
2,200
gone up
now.
quite a bit more than that.
It's 2,200 now. We have
Per-
friends that live there. 2,200.
Now,
a
that's
year.
per lot. So if you own 5 lots, you own 5 times that amount. So, now, I will also say this, every time they raise their assessments, they lost. They never got the money they thought they were going to get because so many people said, you know, I own a useless lot and I only use it for amenities. So there may be some of that. Now, I do have some questions about this all in. I like the $100 or whatever per month. That's nice. Do you also, but I like paying things all at once. Would there be a $1,200 a year, hey, instead of $100 or
Yes,
something like that?
if you pay it on the very first month
So if I
Pay ahead.
paid the full amount, and
up
then
front, you're good.
you're good for the year, okay? Now, I understand with the limited budget that you gotta pay Peter to pay Paul, or however, how that goes. Yeah, Rob Peter to pay Paul. Now, are we going to, because like you said, you had X amount of money for roads and you had to use it elsewhere, okay? Will this be set in stone that, hey, we got this money now, we are going to use this for the roads?
That's part of the way the budget is written, that there are protections for certain percentages at a minimum, but you ain't gonna run into them minimums until probably 12 to 15 years down the road.
So,
And really, I don't wanna get in the middle of meet the candidates here, they can answer that, but if they don't know the answer, I can answer that for you, but there are protections in the ballot item that will be in the covenants if it passes.
I had one other question, and maybe I misread that part of it, but if a fraction should happen, the way I understood, the board would determine the penalties for someone to doing it. That to me doesn't seem proper. In other words, we should set, set limits. Otherwise, board members, if they don't like you, they can say, well, we're going to fine you $1,000, where we're going to fine him $200.
That's all in the covenants and the rules to be protected on, that it's equal across the board as far as fines or penalties go.
I just want to tell you, she's the rules chair, so she could answer that question for you if you wanted. Desiree, would you mind?
As far as trying to take it to where you can find one person one amount and a different one a
Yeah.
different amount. No, in the covenants it says it's pretty much across the board, like Mr. Woolridge said. They have to be fair. It's, I believe, in the assessments part of the covenants, so section 3. Either way, it's across the board. It has to be fair for everybody, otherwise people can get in trouble for it.
And the rules manual has it all laid out what the fines are.
Right. Yes.
And one more final thing.
Yes.
I'm still foggy about this. What are they talking about, this $1 million or $250,000 for the lake or some sort of?
It's called Clean Flow. Is Kent here by chance?
Yeah.
Kent, I'll let Kent, he did all the studies on that, he know it like the back
I'll
of
be
his hand.
happy to meet with you afterwards, but I think we should focus on meeting the candidates
Okay,
now.
good.
But I can tell you, it's a process to improve the health of our lakes too. It's not just about increasing the depth of the coast, it's about improving the health of our lakes so that our fish populations improve and our water quality improves. We have less and less, a thing called eutrophication, or just basically we're dumping fertilizer into our lakes every day that we kill the weeds and they just create fertilizer for next year's weeds. We need to stop this short-term and look at long-term solutions for lake improvement, water quality, fishing, habitat, et cetera.
And-
But I can
and-
talk to you afterwards.
Yes, thank you. If you have questions about any of the ballot items, we can answer those. Let's stay focused on questions for the candidates. And are you up next? And can you all hear me in the back? Because this is kind of in and out.
Is it on?
I really don't need this.
How is it not?
So I'm Kent Jarris, also known as Joan Kent Jarris on Facebook. Don't hate that, but that's just the way it is. I think it was said earlier that, or I read someplace that that we're going to be basically asking for board members to realize that it's going to take about 30 hours of your life every week. I mean, it really does. It takes a lot of time, which is why it's really nice for our retired people too, because they are able to go ahead and commit a little bit more time. But I just want to make sure that you're all aware of that. It's not just showing up for the monthly meeting. I mean, it is a lot of work. You guys will also be on a lot of different committees that I'm on several of them myself, just as members. The roads, well, let's just put it this way. I'm just going to tell you that the last assessment increase that we had, which was the 5%, I think it was 5%, and then with the COLA in place, I believe I read that it made us a whopping $157,000. Now we learned today that it's cost $300,000 to do 1 mile of road. So that means we get to pave a half a mile of roads here. And I mean, the roads are going to deteriorate to the point where they're going to become gravel sooner or later. You can't plow gravel roads, so think about that too when snow time comes.
We're definitely off subject.
Let's see. The all-in. The only fear that I have is much like what Jim said, was that but it's like this with every assessment increase. Every time that we asked for an assessment increase, that got voted down. My fear was always that we were going to lose lot owners. And that is a fear, that we will price ourselves out of the lot owners, that they're not going to pay up. So that is a concern, but I am still all in. If you all don't know that,
Questions for them?
well, mine was to make sure that you guys knew that you guys we're going to have to keep putting in a lot of time. The roads are the main concern. We do get the 3 bids, like Dave was saying earlier, that we do get 3 bids we send out bids. We don't always get 3 bids back. But when we do get them, then we have to decide which ones we can't. They can't go public, like Dave said, with what they wanted to do. Wait a second here. Oh, yeah. So the other thing is the last question down here on the bottom, which, I mean, are you guys, the board members that you guys are running, are you fully aware of the financial situation that we are in right now? I mean, it is pretty dire. I mean, it really is. If you're not aware, I don't know how you couldn't be, because it's just a well-known fact. The last thing that I'm going to say, I'm just going to give a shout out. Dave Woolridge, this is to you.
Pardon me?
You are not the most hated man in Raintree. I'm thanking you for helping to settle the Raintree Golf Course debacle and getting rid of the lawsuit finally, and getting that behind us. And instead of the old section and the new section, we were Raintree once again. This all-in has divided some people, I understand, but we're so much better than we were when the golf course mess was going on. So Dave, thank you so much for that. I think that's all I got. Okay?
Okay.
Please.
Okay, so am I willing to commit 30 hours? Am I willing to commit 30 hours? Yes, I am, but I don't think that's going to be necessary because we entered into an agreement for $146,000 with a year with community property management. And so a lot of the tasks apparently that are going to be paid for by somebody else. This contract was signed August 11th, and I've got, this is the contract right here.
That's not
Okay, the point of it is we've got administrative support, and the other thing is if you have skills, you know, I bring some skills to the position that I think will make me really efficient, so hopefully the 30 hours will be more like, 20. And that is the point, is as far as communicating, you guys. We have to involve other people who have talent and invite them back in. And how do you do that? Nobody trusts the board. The people that I talk to, they're like, I don't go to the board meetings, all they do is complain. It's the same people over and over. And, I really believe that if we open things up and we work together with volunteers and we play together, then it's really hard to hate somebody or to dislike somebody, if you're working right alongside of them.
Excuse me, I've been standing.
Oh, yeah, go right ahead, for sure. I didn't see it yet. Yeah, go right ahead, I'm sorry.
She's been standing behind you.
Yeah, I've been standing there waiting. I'm sorry. First of all, she just brought something up that really upsets me about hating the board. That is not something to bring out in public. It's said enough on social media. It should not be said.
I'm not there, I don't know.
Well, you just said it in public.
This is what it's been expressed to
Hate is
me.
a very bad word. Nobody should hate anybody, I'm sorry. To bring up what I was wanting to say was, I want to bring up the part about the people coming in to work in the office. We did not, the board did not get rid of anybody in the office. Those people left on their own, except for Haley. We did not fire anybody from maintenance. One retired, one got another job, and one is staying on, okay? Kozel's group is going to be doing our maintenance and landscaping, and they will take care of their own insurance, so we will have no insurance to pay for that. That's a money saver. What is it called? The CPM group will pay for one person plus a part-time person, which will probably be their person, which they don't know if they'll be in the office or out of the office. But the person that will be in the office will have full-time benefits. They pay all of that. That is a big savings on our part. We don't pay, pretty much we don't pay. There's not a whole lot that we do pay. They do the hiring, the firing, the software is provided, Rever. I don't see where we're saving between $20,000 and $30,000 a year by going with this company. So, just add that into the all-in on a savings.
Okay, in the interest of time, I feel like we've covered roads pretty well, true? Okay, we've covered CPM just now, we've covered all-in, and more detail about all-in can be answered after we do this, because we have info. Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
How about security? But one quick correction. Kent, I appreciate everything you said. Thank you. It took 5 of 9. and all 9 approved it, so thanks, it's not just my
Oh,
accolades. It's-
I understand that, but you spearheaded the
It
whole
was a
thing.
lot of work
Oh, it
for
was. Yes,
5 of
yes.
us to get a yes vote, but all 9 did approve it, and some of them people are here now. So, thank you,
Yeah.
but it was everybody.
Yeah, it was all of you. Deb was on there at the time, and.
Betty was on there at the
Dave
end.
Teddy was on there at the time, several others, yes.
So I just wanted to say, a couple people I feel like have asked, or they've made really good statements that I think are good questions that it might be nice to circle back to and get responses on. So you had said that it's a huge time commitment. And so I think it'd be nice to say, what would you say is the minimum amount of time a board member needs to work per week to be a successul board member?
It depends on where you're allocated at within a committee.
Just a ballpark. It doesn't need to be.
It's more
I
than
can
20
answer
hours.
that.
Yeah.
So,
I am Dave's wife, and that was a question that I had is, are your spouses aware of the time that you're not gonna be around?
Yeah.
Because I'm not kidding you, especially in the beginning,
Yeah.
we became roommates.
So
20
Yeah,
to
I'm
30
serious.
hours at
So
a
I
minimum.
think a good question then is, do you have 20, we should all answer it, and so we can do that one here in a second. And then another one, Tilly alluded to, that I think is another good question that I think it'd be nice for people to ask is, do you have any ideas about how we can improve some of the negativity that you see on social media, and how would you address that? So I think in so many words, you both asked those questions, so I just wanted to give us all an opportunity to answer those 2 questions. So my answer to the time one is, it's a concern of mine. I have I have 3 boys, 2 of them are younger than 3. I work in Maryland Heights, I'm a project manager, it can be a demanding job at times. And so, in my opinion, that is the thing that worries me the most. Now, I've made the commitment and things that I committed to do, I see through, but that is the thing that is why I haven't been more involved in the past, is when you have young children like that, it makes it challenging. So, I would say that that's probably my biggest worry at this moment. But I think we should all kind of talk about the time thing. So if everybody could go around, or if you want to stand up, it's fine by me.
Well, I guess I'm an empty nester, so without any kids at home, I can definitely do what you can do. You know, 20 to 30. It is on.
Yeah, it's on, we can hear you.
You gotta eat it to make us here.
20 to 30 hours a week. Sometimes it's almost hard for me to believe that. You've got 9 board members, so 30 hours times 9 is how much, work is going into the board. It's kind of hard to believe that it takes that much time. Some of the negativity and some of the time that's maybe being required could also be reduced potentially with more and more information out there, like drag things into the sunlight, and it's a great, way to squash lots of people talking back and forth when lots of facts are out there, people can use that. That's what, one of the things that I've always wanted. I mean, it doesn't matter which politician level, I want to know almost all the stuff that they know. And there's nothing that would say that I couldn't, that it's just them being a gatekeeper. So I'm not a gatekeeper. I want everybody to know everything that I know. And then I just want to make, good decisions. And if somebody disagrees with me, I can say, this is why I made this decision, this, and this. And I made that decision. If it turns out wrong later, I can go, oh, that's all I had at the time, or something like that. But, I've also thought about it before I put my name in, and I'm committed. I've done a lot of things in the military and other places, and I don't like doing stuff half-assed, and I do have energy. I don't need any coffee in the morning. I get a lot of things done usually, make goals and stay on disciplined timelines and things like that. And that's also something, like I said, I know Jim McClung, we are similar in that, you've just got to get some things done, and you've got to have some discipline. A lot of people can get distracted. A lot of people like to do things spur of the moment. A Other people like to have things planned out a week out. And the people that you're asking to watch over your money should probably be pretty disciplined kind of people with plans and things. And they're used to doing that kind of stuff. So, thank you.
And I would like to address just, can you guys hear me? Because I can't always hear. No? Now, how, can you hear me now? Yes? Okay. My experience because of the All-In for Raintree that I've been promoting since April, we're handing out flyers at the gates just these last couple of days, and there are people going, no, I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
No, I'm actually at a...
Okay.
We can hear him.
So I say this to tell you, as much as information is being sent out through the MailChimp email subscription, through the monthly town halls that we've been doing, through the Facebook and Nextdoor posts that I keep putting out there, for the printed newsletter that every owner should have received in whatever received a time frame, still people do not know. As I talk to people on the beach, I have no idea what you're talking about. So my only point is, as much information is out there, still people do not know. So hopefully whoever's on the board can fix that. I don't know how, but it amazes me how people have no idea what we're talking about after, since April, we've been talking about it. So, question, John, you next?
Did they finish up their stuff?
Oh, okay.
The time commitment.
Time commitment?
Yeah, I think it was Jim.
Well, I was on the board previously when I was working as a biomedical engineer and made time for the board. So now that I'm older and retired, I will be able to make time for the board.
Good answer.
Could, when you come to the mic, could you give us your names, because I don't know what your names are, and be nice.
I'm Jim McClung.
And I'm Cal Bailey.
And these people are all on this that we created in our agenda. What we hope to achieve is also on this flyer, and you can pick that up. And I hope we have permission to hand out flyers. Okay. Do we have permission?
You gotta address it to the board, not by a microphone in and on.
I thought it was a constitutional right.
Yes.
Electioneering.
Send it to the secretary.
That's right. Anyway, my better half is right here, and hopefully it won't interfere with our relationship. I'm a grandmother. I guess you could say I'm retired. I really am action-oriented, you guys, and I really think that, you know, this agenda here, it's very aggressive, but at the same time, we should be held accountable. You should be given a scorecard. And as far as streamlining communications, Kent at one of the other meetings was talking about streamlined communications. And I'll give you a great example, okay? So let's suppose that there's a project that we post, whether it's roads, lakes, whatever, okay? You have the people on the project, and we give you guys access to see the project plan. Where are we at? Who's doing what tasks, okay? You could have access to that, and that would take a lot of ambiguity out of, well, what are they doing, and what's spending, and what's taking so long? And so people could consume what they're interested in when they want it. The other thing, too, that I'd like to do text messaging. And I think that would, you know, and also an email preference center where whatever you're interested in, that's what you get information on.
Time commitment, 20 to 30 hours a week, can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, time commitment question? Desiree, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say I've done rules the last 2 years, so I've made the time commitment anyways.
Okay, Mr. Getty?
I've been on the board before, and I've put in at least 30 hours a week, and ACC and rules in the past, so.
Jerry Jean, time commitment, can you do it?
Yes, I can do the time commitment. I'd like to tell this gentleman here, it's not just the board, you also are in charge of committees, so that's where a lot of your time goes to also.
All right, so we all answer the time commitment question? Where's it on that one?
Justin.
Justin.
Yes, I can.
Short and sweet, that's what I like.
These were being handed out at the gate this afternoon. There's 8 people on this. Is this all the people that are running?
No.
No.
Those are
There's 14
candidates that have
candidates.
talked.
And And so.
You just put them all on there.
Frankly, this is kind
Well,
of
we just put that together with people who'd already said we could put that on there, and candidates we had talked to.
So it sounds like, I think, different candidates are grouping together to tell you their commonalities, and then trying to share that information either in that flyer or the other flyer, the Power of Five card that we talked about a moment ago, and maybe there's yet another flyer out there, I don't know. We're gonna move on to the next question. Your name again, please.
Oh, if you don't realize by now, it's John Urban. First really simple question is, Justin, what's the name of that pretty dog? Who can't vote for that dog? We're just gonna vote for that dog and vote for the So my real question to you board members at this point is there's been a lot of talk about presenting everything to everybody out here. And yes, we probably all want that. But why should we vote for you if we're not putting our backing to you to make the decisions for us? Because if we all have to vote for it, then why vote for you? We'll just throw it out there in votes every month and just take a ballot on, or not a ballot on, an issue and vote on it. We'll all get together, we'll come here, we'll vote for it. So why do you, and maybe individually, you can help me with this or something, but I understand the transparency and I understand that you want everybody to be able to vote on this, but when I vote for you, any of you, I expect you to be able to make a right decision for me. I look at social media. I don't comment on social media. I go to the board meetings. I go to the committee meetings that affect me. I expect those people to be able to present information to me that's going to be vetted out in some way. And I will respect what they say at that point. I don't know what this board knows, the current board, past boards, whatever. I don't know what you guys know. But if I entrust my vote on you this year, shouldn't I just respect what you present and go forward with it? Why should I have to vote every month for maybe something? And I know that's kind of pushing it to the extreme. I know that's not what you mean, but I do respect that if you get the vote, which, you know, I've made my decision tonight on quite a few people. And I think it's great. I think you guys all did a very good job presenting your points. So that's really my question is if you want everything transparent and you want everything to come out to everybody, why are we really voting on you? I mean, your respect is what you're getting from us, right? And I'm done. Well, I hope.
Name, please, when you get up there, and we're trying to stay away from that speaker because of feedback. And then you have to
I'm
talk
Karen
loudly.
Ripley.
There you go.
I don't really have a question for you, but my question is, where are the other people? And did they let anyone know that they had a conflict tonight? Or did they just not take the time? We're asking people if they'll give 20 hours a week, and they can't give us 2.
One of them is actually on vacation with her kids in Disney, so she did let some of us know.
Who's that?
Kristen.
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 I'm not even gonna
That's
try.
why I'm asking the question. Because,
Blitzling?
and my question then to the people that are running, have you been, I know some, I know Getty and George and Jim McClung, have you been on committees as part of this?
Still in.
I never
Okay.
have.
Okay. Because I would feel like, and I'm not going to run because I haven't been on a committee, and I don't live here full time. You know, I think that that's a route that people, it's important to me that people do go that route and see what's there. Thank you.
Just so you know, if you get in, you're on a committee.
Several.
Yes.
It's a good reason not to run.
Your name, please.
Good evening, my name is John Campbell, and I am Ken's brother.
Yeah, closer.
You can't hear me. Is that better?
Yes.
All right, sorry. My name is John Campbell, and I am Kent's brother, but I don't get any information from him. So one of the things I've never understood about property owners associations, homeowners associations, of which I've never been a member of in terms of being on a board or anything like that for lots of, one, I don't play well with others. The other reason is I just don't think I could commit the time to it. So appreciate y'all saying you can commit the time to it. It's a lot. For those of you who are there now and would be there perhaps in the future if you get the votes. One thing I've never understood in the 40-some years I've been going to these types of meetings, both here and at another home, is abstaining from votes. I don't understand it. I just don't understand why anybody would ever abstain from a vote. And in the June meeting, and then there wasn't a July meeting because there wasn't a quorum, but there was a hullabaloo, I guess, that's a good way to describe it. And then in the last meeting, there was votes and there were abstentions. And we don't live here full time, and we try to be informed, and we've tried to we came out today because of this meeting today. So I felt like I had pretty good information and knew how I would have voted on the things that were being presented. So some of you have abstained from voting. I'm not going to call anybody out.
I can speak for myself, because I most definitely abstained on the 1L commitment, because I am a customer of 1L. He cuts my house, and I have 2 other properties in DeSoto, and 1L cuts them, so I didn't feel right being
valid reason.
That's a valid reason.
Even though it's probably not a conflict, I didn't feel comfortable with it.
I wouldn't have thought that would have been a conflict, because you're not in business with him, he's doing a service for you.
I am a customer.
Correct. But there were other abstentions, and I just don't.
That was me.
Okay.
So I abstained in the June meeting because I felt like I didn't have enough information about Smith Management to vote yes or no. And in the last meeting, I abstained as well because I felt like it was just too soon. But I wasn't against it, yes or no, either way. So I just felt that it was just easier, instead of saying no because I didn't want it right then, or yes, we should have done it right away.
Not a disc or negative towards you personally regarding this, but that answer almost to me speaks. You don't have enough time to put forth to gather that information to make an informed yes or no. Unless there is a conflict of interest, I would think that each board member, you have a duty to weigh in, yes or no. And if you don't have the information, then get that information to where you can do what we're voting you to do.
I guess just from a personal standpoint, if someone has I'm not saying you have a pattern, because I don't know that, but it's been in another environment. When people had a propensity to abstain, they lost my confidence in my vote, because you're putting yourself out there to represent us. Thank you. And these are difficult decisions. These things going on right now are difficult decisions. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of people that are going to be impacted. If you're going to be on the board, my opinion is, my personal opinion, I'm not speaking for anybody else here whatsoever, my personal opinion is, you better figure out what's going on. You either be for it or you better be against it, unless you have a conflict of interest. And then I would appreciate it if you'd explain that you have a conflict of interest.
Would you mind either coming up and saying what you said, or give us your name and let him recap what you said?
Oh, I'm not going to recap. I might say something he doesn't want me to say.
I hear you. Your name, please.
My name's Kevin Miller, and I'm on alcohol. No, wrong meeting.
Wrong meeting.
I just stated that it's disheartening whenever you're abstaining for and you don't have a conflict of interest. There's only so many votes. You have to weigh in. If you don't have time to gather the information to do an informed yes or no, then you're not doing the job that we're voting you for. I mean, nothing against you at all. That's just overall, in generality. That's all I was saying.
Thank you.
I can see some situations where somebody might abstain though. You know, what if you're not against the proposal, but you're against the timing? So it's more of a matter of
Then
you
vote
have
no.
a.
Then vote no.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a no vote sometimes is, I mean, they can mean different things. Is this, now if I vote no now, is that gonna kill this proposal? You know, because abstaining, that might not be like, maybe we can come back to it and fix it or
Should be
something.
an
I just think that
absolute
there's.
vote, yes, no, or abstain for the right reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I can see situations where it is important to have the ability to abstain because you have a reason why you might want to abstain.
And I would like to add, if that is the case, because whenever you all put a motion on the table, there's discussion.
Yeah.
So I would think if you're abstaining,
Yeah, I mean, I think
that's the time
if
you
you're
can say.
abstaining, then you should have a reason why, and if somebody asks, or,
During
you know, you should
discussion.
clearly explain it, but.
I'm not sure it's working.
Some people are just
Okay, just really quickly, the country club matter is a settled matter, and that's a yes or no from.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, got it. That was it.
Did everybody answer
that
that?
a yes or no?
No, yeah, of course, yes.
For him.
And, you know, it was, I believe you asked it because I've heard it too. There is hubbub, whatever you want to call it out there. Some people are saying, well, if we get elected, we're bringing that back.
Yeah.
So that's no from you, all of you sitting here, right? Okay.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. Jerry Jean, you have something? Any other questions? Come on up, because we're wrapping up soon.
Yes, I just wanted to say that my feeling on, if you're running for the board, my feeling is, I feel that when someone runs for the board, that the person, I run for the board for you people in the subdivision to put your full trust in me to take care of the issues in the subdivision, to take care of handling the money in the proper way in the subdivision, and to not quit on you. I feel I would put, that running for the board, that you should put your full self into the community. This community is very dear to my heart. I've been out here, like I said, since '87. Actually before that, but I moved in my house in '87. But it's very dear to my heart, and I would appreciate anybody and everybody's vote. Thank you.
Any other questions from owners for the candidates? Oh, come on in.
I'm just standing under the.
She's getting warm in the sun. Okay, so if the candidates are able to stay, y'all can connect with them one-on-one and go ask your own, questions if you'd rather hear something specific from that. I do want to mention that we do have more information about the all-in assessment. If anyone has any questions about that, I'm willing to answer all those and hand you this as well that has all the information. Bob, do you have any other questions? Come on up. Here comes a comment from Bob.
I just want to make a comment. This is board members and everybody. It was said that if we have an increase in all in, that we're going to lose property owners. That may be. But we take care of our roads, our lakes, security, and with the loss, with people, new owners, they'll see that. They'll see the roads are kept and the lakes are well kept. So that will, the new owners, when they come in, they're going to build new homes. And that will offset the loss of property owners.
Yeah.
Okay, candidates, one last statement that you would like to offer?
I'm sorry, I will have to leave here shortly. I have a prior commitment. I'm supposed to be there at 6. I'm going to be very late, so I just wanted to.
Thank you for coming and being part of this, because
Well, thank you.
some people chose not to. Anybody else, candidate-wise, want to say a closing statement? All right, well, anybody, we're good, right? So, all right.
Thank you.
You can-
Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome.